New request. Henry Cohen says, a shield-based class, I understand that's a big ask, or subclass that lets you do fun Captain America shenanigans. It would be also cool if it was reaction-based, like you could do different reactions to defend and protect. Oh, yeah, I got you. That sounds super fun. Well, you ever have this idea of combining two different types of media in your head and just the perfect opportunity presents itself? Well, that's what happened this time. I had this idea of combining all of the fun Captain America-y stuff from this comment request, while also a little bit of Toph from The Last Airbender. I think that we came up with something really cool here. It was a druid, which it was just a druid to me. So here is the Circle of Earthen Safety. We can change it to whatever you want. This was actually part of January. The prompt was technology advances, encompasses, consumes, and the theme was improve or reinforce. There's not a whole lot of technology here, but I think we came up with something very cool for a druid that is not really interested in becoming animals as part of their wild shape, but wants to kind of use nature to protect their friends, themselves, while also, dealing out some damage. So when you pick this circle at 2nd level, you can use your wild shape as a bonus action to create an Aegis. You decide what this looks like. I have this idea of it being a very Captain America-y circle shield on your arm, but as a shield that's also a weapon, it has the two-handed and thrown properties. This is because I wanted the focus to be on the shield, not on using it like as a shield, but as a overall kind of focus for the class. It deals 1d4 plus your strength modifier as magical bludgeoning damage. This puts it on par with a dagger up front, but you're going to increase to 2d4, 3d4, and 4d4 at the appropriate druid level. So pretty much every time you get a new feature from this subclass, your Aegis is also going to be doing more damage by a d4. Ultimately, it starts out as a dagger. By the time you get to level 6, you're kind of looking at a longsword, and by the time you get to 14th level, you're looking at the equivalent of like a greatsword kind of a thing. I think that it kind of makes for some really interesting shenanigans to use this shield, and it makes it so that you don't have to worry about finding a magic shield. It's just going to grow with you over time. As part of the thrown action, if you drop it or throw it, it dissipates at the end of your turn, and then you can use a bonus action to... It says sword here. Let's fix that, because I stole that right from the Shadowblade spell. Remember, most of homebrewing is just plagiarizing creatively. Also, at 2nd level, you can use your Aegis to defend your allies. This is kind of the reaction portion of the request from that video, but as a reaction, you can throw your Aegis to one of your party members that's within its 30-60 range. I would say you go all the way to 60. There's no disadvantage that you're going to incur by going to the long range of it. So as long as you're within realistically the battlefield that you're going to be in with your friends, you can use this reaction. You can either add 2 to their AC, you can add 2 to their saving throw. This is very similar to like the Shield Master feat, but giving it to others. Or if they make their dex save, you can basically give them the evasion. This is also kind of part of like the Shield Master feat, where I think it's just kind of more interesting to do it this way, where, you may throw it, but it could be like very Toph-like, where you stomp the ground and a wall comes up in front of them to give them extra cover that then dissipates at the end of that turn. I think it's kind of cool. At 6th level, I kind of combined 2 different things. I was torn whether I was going to do the attack and cantrip thing like the Blade Singer, but since I did that in the Everflame Cleric, I decided that we're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to get the extra attack, but you have to use your Aegis to get the extra attack. Or if you use your action to cast a spell, because this is overall druid, so you're looking at, spike growth or any of the fun control spells like Fairy Fire, or at level 6, I guess you're really only looking at 5th level spells, but I mean, there's Tidal Wave in there, there's you name it, all the great druid spells. I'm drawing a blank right now because I've been brewing up a lot as part of January down here. I've got a whole list. When I get about halfway through and when I finish overall, I'll put out all of them for you guys to look through. But, you're going to use your action as a druid quite often, and this gives you an opportunity to, again, use your Aegis. It kind of keeps it, relevant while also, making sure that you're able to keep up in battle. At 10th level, your Aegis is going to improve. So basically, it just becomes a +2 shield in terms of making attacks. I guess it really becomes a +2 weapon at that point. But as part of that, I also kind of gave the rogue uncanny defense, or what's it called? Uncanny dodge, that's what it is, where you can use your reaction to have the incoming damage to you. There's a lot of reaction stuff going on in here, like in the request, and a lot of using this shield. I think it makes for something really, really cool, but this kind of has like Gaara from Naruto, where the sand just kind of like automatically protects him very early on in the series, but your shield is going to naturally move to protect you, so you're going to naturally have some of that damage. I think it's a cool feature. And then at 14th, if you're going to be a very defensive character, we got to take this almost directly from the Spores Druid, because that's also the image that I have, but you can't be blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned, and you have the equivalent of adamantine armor. At 14th level, it's a little bit late, and you really shouldn't be getting too many like melee or critical hits on you. You should mostly be taking your damage from saves at 14th level, but it's a nice effect nonetheless. You're a druid, you're going to be a little bit squishy because you're only getting the light armor. You're not going to ever get the heavy armor. Actually, I think druids get medium armor, but you would have to convince your DM to give you something non-metal equivalent to half plate. So realistically, it's going to be a tough sell. But anyway, that is the fulfillment of the request. If you guys have any ideas that you would like made into Homebrew like this, give me an idea and I'll see if I can go through and make it for you.